How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Long time no see. First of all, I'm going to try to address that this year. I'm going to try to be putting a lot more videos out. I took basically a 2 year, or honestly at this point, like a 4 year break from it. Stuff with work was just kind of consuming life, and I want to try to fix that. I do enjoy making um, gear review videos and talking about gear and just talking about being in the outdoors and everything that comes along with that. So the goal for this year is to increase the amount of videos being put out. So I thank you for sticking around. I don't think I've lost too many subscribers over these last few years. So thanks for hanging out, being patient, and I'll try to make it worth your while. So getting right into it, basically I do a lot of gear reviews, and a lot of times, stuff is just not what it's advertised as. And it's pretty refreshing when stuff does what it's supposed to do. It's as advertised. That's nice. It makes me happy, especially when it involves me being able to take some animals that I've never taken before. That's always a fun time. So what I want to talk about today is the Hornady CX bullets. I've got a little bit of experience with them now on game animals, a few different calibers and cartridges. So I just want to talk about my experiences with that. I was on the hunt for a kind of a do everything bullet. A lot of companies out there saying that their bullets will do everything from 0 to infinity yards basically and perform at all different distances. And from my experience in the last few years, that's just simply not the case. I've had a lot of bullets that are supposed to hold up well at close range just completely disintegrate. And honestly, bullets that I had high hopes for that I'm a little bit less confident in now. I do want to do some more testing and make sure I just didn't have the the exception and not the rule. But again, it's just tough to find something that does everything. It's kind of a unicorn. So what I found with the Hornady CX bullets, they're a pretty good option if you're wanting a do everything bullet. So what I found with the Hornady CX bullets is that they are a pretty solid option if you're looking for a bullet to kind of do everything with, as far as 20 yards out to however far you can comfortably get that velocity where you need it to be to open them up. And so for me, I'm a kind of a 400 yard and in, 500 yard and in kind of guy. Prior to moving to North Dakota, I was 200 yards and in was kind of where I killed most of my game animals, and a lot of that's just region and stuff. But since then, I've been taking some stuff at 400 yards, and in my opinion, that's a long dang shot. It's something that I'm not always comfortable with, depending on the rest. And so when you're talking 5, 6, 700 yards now, even if you have the caliber and the cartridge that can do that, it doesn't necessarily mean you should do that. But anyway, so what I have here is the Hornady Outfitter. This is 308 Winchester. They're 165 grain CX, and it's coming out of the barrel at a blazing 2,610 feet per second. And actually, the rifle I was shooting that in was a Ruger American Ranch, 16-inch barrel. So I'm not sure what the speed was, but I'm guessing it was probably closer to like 23 or 2,400 feet per second. I also had it in a 7 PRC in a Browning X bolt. And so that was kind of my first experience with the CX was that particular rifle. And first of all, it shot really well. That was the 160 grain CX in the 7 PRC. Shot really well. I mean, 3/4 inch groups out of the X bolt versus some of the other ones were inch, inch and a half. So grouping was good. It seems to be consistently loaded. I like that the Outfitter ammo itself is like the corrosion resistant cases with the sealed primers. I mean, I don't know that I've ever had that cause any issues before with unsealed primers, but I guess it's a little peace of mind if you're going to go on a once in a lifetime hunt. All the peace of mind you can get is pretty helpful, I suppose. So my first experience on an animal with the CX was with the 7 PRC, and that was on my once in a lifetime drawn North Dakota moose. Put in for the first time antlerless because I was trying to increase my odds, and it seemed to have worked because the first year I put in, I drew for it. That was 2 seasons ago now, but yeah, so took a moose at 400 yards with that 7 PRC. And through the scope, it stumbled around 3 or 4 steps and fell over dead. When I walked up on it, bullet hit exactly where I wanted, right through the high heart, low lungs. It wasn't a a spine or a neck shot. It was a vital shot that dropped it in 3 steps. I was super impressed with that. It was one hole in, one hole out. Exit hole wasn't very large, so I don't know what the bullet actually looked like when it left. I just know that it was a pretty big animal that fell down dead basically immediately. So I don't know what I would have wanted to change about that scenario. It was, if it had have ran, I had an exit wound, so there would have been blood to trail, but it didn't run, which is even better. So I was super happy with how that worked out. And again, that was 400 yards, so that kind of tells me that on the upper end of yardages of where I would want to be taking a game animal, it's going to perform. Where I've seen issues, because there's a lot of bullets out there that'll do that at 4, 5, 600 yards. It seems like the companies are making them pretty thin and pretty weak. So at that distance, they do their job, right? They open up and expand and everything. But what I found is that it's hard to find a bullet that does that, but also will hold together at 20 yards, because I've shot just as many deer at 20 yards as I have, 200, and certainly more than I have at 3 or 400. So finding that bullet that can hold together, it has been difficult in my experience. But so this year, or this past fall, I guess, ended up taking a 300-pound black bear from Minnesota. That was a 20-yard shot, maybe a 15, 20-yard shot. It was close. And that was a quartering away. Bullet went in a little bit back and went through the offside front shoulder. If you know anything about bear, their shoulders are known to be bullet stopping machines. They're tough, and that bullet was single entry, single exit. The hole was a little bit bigger, but it seemed like everything held together. I didn't find any pieces of copper inside the bear. It seemed like it was did exactly what you would want it to do. The bear ran 15 yards and fell over dead. So in my experience, from what I've seen from a lot of different bullet manufacturers in the last couple of years, that result is pretty hard to beat, because, like I said, I've found so many bullets that have high BCs that do well at long ranges as far as opening up and doing their job. But man, I just, for me personally, I just shoot just as much stuff up close, and I found, through various other bullets that just not all of them are going to hold up like you want them to. I've seen bullets just completely disintegrate, and that's not what I want. It ruins a lot of meat. Sometimes you don't find your stuff. It's no fun for anyone. So I can say that I do recommend this Hornady CX bullet, the outfitter ammo. I would have no issues giving a recommendation to use that stuff. The only thing I would say is, being it's copper and it is a little bit tougher a bullet by nature, just make sure that, on the upper end of ranges that you should have enough velocity for that thing to open up. I don't know if I've ever actually seen Hornady publish that, but I would just try to keep it around that 2,000 feet per second mark or higher, and then you should be good. But no, I think it's good stuff. If you're watching this still, I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'd like to do a lot more testing this year on just bullets in general, because, like I said, through my experiences in the last few years, it needs to be done, at least for my own personal knowledge. I've seen too many failures that I would like to put them in a consistent test medium, whether it's water or gelatin, and a consistent barrel length at distances that I want to see, right? Like, there's plenty of videos and plenty of channels out there that are testing all these different things at 100 yards. I feel like 100 yards doesn't really tell me the story that I want to know. I want to know at 20 yards and 30 yards, because that's where I've seen the failures personally. And so I just want to know, if I didn't shoot stuff at 20 yards, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I do, and I have, and I've had some really terrible experiences just recently at 20 yards with bullets that supposedly can handle that. And so I would like to do some testing this year. If that's something you want to see, if you have bullets in mind that you would like to see testing done on at longer ranges and at closer ranges rather than just the standard 100 yards, let me know what those bullets are. I will try to find them and purchase them and do some testing this year. That's one of my goals. And again, it's not for clicks or likes or subscribes. It's for my own personal knowledge. And I think that that's the way YouTube should be. I think you should make a video for you. And through that, people with similar questions and similar concerns are going to find that content and get value from it. So that's my goal. I want to make more content for you guys. Over the last few years, I've been pretty inactive on here, and it looks like that a lot of my original subscribers are here. So I want to thank you all for sticking around, and I'm hopefully going to make it worth your while and put out a lot of cool stuff this year. So thanks for sticking around. If you found this video helpful, give me a like. Let me know in the comment section some bullets you'd like to see tested this year. Until next time, y'all be safe.